Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second set of feature matches here in the channel. This time we're having brand new decks, and these ones are going to be a little bit better than Galaxy Piles. Uh, I'm on the left, Merlin, playing, I believe this is Blazefiend Big Fiend. It's just basically Fiend Pile. It's the Fiend Piles that have been popping up in Rush recently. And Aura Octomedley is over on the right and playing Abysskite or Miracle Girls. So here we are, starting off strong with middle piece of Truth. Truth. I don't know how to pronounce it. Wow, that trend continued from the last video. And Archfiend Warrior to mill 3. And we milled a couple of spells. Oh, and look at me go. I already had a Lucy piece. Adding it back. Very nice. So, setting 2 cards and 1 card in hand. A good place to be for this Fiend pile. Because this one is a lot heavier on traps. Which I've been liking a lot. It makes it sort of more of a control deck. And Aura here milling Katarot or having Katarot choice in the opener. Remember when this card was at 3? Crazy ass card. Crazy ass card. I'm sure people have a lot of trauma over Dark Solitaire, the Dark Magician stuff. God, that deck was so annoying. Shout out! Obsidian coming back to 2. I called it as a joke. I'm surprised it actually happened. If Obsidian starts killing y'all again, don't blame it on me. Konami is just like funny like that. So here we see Karen, and I think Aura's trying to decide what to discard for the effect. Pitching a Liam. Yep. Milling the middle piece, Miracle Girls, and Energy. Yep. Man, Karen got the short end of the stick. I guess that's the term. Yeah. And now we're using Avarice to draw 2 because they don't have a back row to add. Well, they do have one in protection, but Miracle Girls doesn't want to run protection. They'd much prefer a different card. Sort of like how Angie got Violet Halo and Liam got Mapping. So hopefully, soon enough, Karen gets her own name changed back row to really boost the specifically Miracle Girls portion of the deck. So yeah, we just had Avarice Resolve. Man, isn't it weird how Avarice was like a random like Roman card all of a sudden? Because it popped up in like one of her duels. I think it's like the finale one she had in 7th. I could be wrong. Kind of wild that it's tied to psychics in that way, but it made Progress Potter. And Progress Potter. Oh, and we see a bit of a misplay. Well, sort of mistake in the in that Angie pitches Sea Serpents, and Uminotaurus, the new legend that came out recently, is not in fact a Sea Serpent. He's like an Aqua. But his effect boosts like the 3 like quote-unquote fish watery types. It's like fish, Aqua, and Sea Serpent. So sometimes he sees play in the Abysskite list, although mostly now people have transitioned to stuff like, I think it's like Ryza. That was always a nice pick. And then shout out to Car Trooper. He recently came out and he works really nice for the deck. So now we just have Miracle Girls, I think. Yeah, because there isn't a party in the grave. It's only up to 24. And yeah, that's it for Aura. So not the usual explosive start that Miracle Girls have with like looping parties over and over again to gain a lot of attack and just kill you out of nowhere. Like when that happens, and if you don't have the right interaction, you basically just die. Yep, and there's the middle piece that was known before. Tributing it for the Lumiere, yeah, because this deck was on a small 6-axis package. pitching Satanarius to draw 2. Yep, and then pitching the middle piece of the Blazefiend maximum. Now, I know there's like some lists. These are more like the ones geared towards the metagame, where they run the other mid. I think it's like the left piece, the one that floodgates level 7s. Because like there's a lot of 7s that special summon themselves, stuff like Ryozai, which got hit to 1 recently, and all that stuff. So, and you know, 7s are gonna be prominent again, assumedly, if Solitaire picks back up again. You know, you gotta stop those Obsidians from spamming the board. So usually that's seen more play than the middle piece here. But it just has slightly better stats because it's 25. And the effect for it to pop comes up once every couple of, you know, lunar cycles. Only if you play like a heavier Blazefiend count, because they need specifically fire maximums for its effect. And here we go, 2 Karens on the board, resolving a party to mill 2. Both players mill 2. That's an interesting aspect of party, in the sense that whatchamacallit, in the sense that it mills both players. So, and this was a discussion, I believe, Voltalon. Shout out to Volt, because he made it to the the finals. I'm so stupid. Of Worlds for Rush Duel Links. And yeah, now you can just see me, I'm compulsing one of the Karens, just so that it doesn't have that much attack. But Aura is crazy and opened to mapping. Kinda wild, right? That's just the weird part, or like the semi-frustrating part of Abysskite, is that you don't know how often or how much access do they have to the to how many parties that they'll resolve. But as I was saying before I cut myself off, is that the sort of Abysskite deck can turn into a mill deck because of how many times you can mill your opponent out. And yeah, I believe one of these Karens is 24, and the other one should be like almost 6,000 or something, because of like 5k, 6k, because party resolved, I believe, like 3 times that turn. So that's a stupid amount of attack for one level 3 C, level 3, 2, I don't even remember, Sea Serpent to have. Oh, and there's Pot of Arrogance. Shout out to Arrogance. It enables a lot of more trap monster heavy pots. I've been saying shout out a lot. I should stop saying that. And here's Amp, the sort of the glue that holds all these fiend piles together, because it just adds fiends, you know. It's not restricted to specifically demons, you know, royal demons, because Rush doesn't have archetypes in the traditional sense. And there's Archfiend Warrior, milling a bunch, hitting cul-de-sac. Again, another card, I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I think that's how it is. And it looks like I'm tributing 3 here to summon the big boy. Yup, God Maju Garzett, because this deck also has a Garzett access in it. So the God Maju is so silly, because he just gains stupid amounts of attack, and he's just like a beat stick. He's just a guy, you know. But sometimes all you need is a big enough guy to take games, and I think he's at like 58, because it's like 25 and the 13 and 12, basically, right? And then, you know, he gains an additional 8 if you summoned him with all 3 monsters. And looks like I'm setting one more back row. I don't think it showed it, but I believe I showed Plus Skull for the cul-de-sac. So now he gains an additional 1k and piercing off of the plus call, and then the cul-de-sac gives him an additional 8. So this God Machu is like 7k, which is ridiculous. And this has sort of become a battle of the beat sticks. You know, who can muster the largest body and just like out aggro and just end your opponent there. And if you just don't have the right interaction for it, you just sorta lose. But it's more back and forth. And then I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, yeah, now Aura's trying to find the answer to God Maju. God Maju and 3 back row specifically, which is a very, very hard task to do because, you know, obviously you want the God Maju to be gone, but you have to somehow do that while going through the back row. And now we see good old Progress Spotter, a card very near and dear to my heart. Sort of, I don't want to say the channel mascot per se, but it, you know, it's the profile pic I used because I think Potter's cool. Uh, a sort of card with a troubled history because it's been used for a lot of degenerate things, lots of loops, lots of like strategies where you just try to cycle through your deck repeatedly in one turn. And then more recently, I believe in the Galaxy Cup that happened recently, it was used in the sort of good stuff Melody Ryozai loop deck that I believe won the junior division because it fulfills the role of recycling. It lets you draw cards, you know, it puts back all the stuff you mill off of Beidai. Just overall, fantastic card. And importantly, on top of doing all that, it also does graveyard hate for cards, not just monsters or anything like that. So you can hit important back row that decks have, you know, like fusion, like that sort of stuff. You know, the spell traps that usually don't get that much interaction. And now we see a Jest resolving, pitching another Jest. That's not gonna happen ever again. And now, oh, yep, there's Invitation and Abysskite Ray Monochrome. And you can see that I had 2 cards in hand. So I did have a way to, you know, put the card back for the discard. Well, not discard cost, you know, it's the hand cost of Invitation. And Abysskite Ray Monochrome and Invitation are just, overall, I've been really liking them in this list. Mainly because in, I believe, this pile or like this build, I don't have a lot of recycling in the Fiends. So since it shuffles your own monsters, it's just great because it can shuffle back amps and stuff. And Invitation is just Invitation. It's been one of the quote-unquote staple trap cards of the format that we've just been in. Because it just hits so many things. You know, deny your opponent resources in the monster that they're trying to establish. If you're trying to play any contact deck or a fusion deck that summons like 8s and lowers, that's like really punishing because like you invest into a fusion and it gets stolen. And I believe, at least in now, Aura's trying to find a way through the situation. But I think at this point, or at least in a bit, Aura might just concede to just not being able to out the board. And here we are at game 2. And Aura's going first. So as we saw in that last game, there was a lot of considerations to be made because, you know, you have to deal with the trap cards and then the big body presented from Garzett. And then if you can't get your loop established, it's very hard to get going. Or, you know, you don't get the party loop going early. But you saw it in like the middle. Okay, and here we go, an early party. That's a lot better for the deck. And you can see two chests milled off the top. So, bit of a big sigh of relief. So now both of the girls are 24. And then Miracle Girls uses her effect and she goes up to 4K. And she has protection or card effect destruction protection until my turn ends. So, great board from Aura. You know, this is exactly where you want to be with the girlies. So now we see cul-de-sac, reveal cul-de-sac, because you can't do that. You know, it doesn't have like, you know, what you'd expect in TCG, where like a text that says accept itself. And then there's the second cul-de-sac here. And it looks like we smacked the camera a bit. I don't know if I can share the pic of the setup, so it was very jank. Oh, and there's the other Garzett of the deck, Great Garzett. So he gains the original attack, so he's now at 3k, and then with the cul-de-sac, he gains a little bit more attack. And then yeah, we plus skull here to give him a big old boost. So now I believe he should be able to beat over the Miracle Girls. So she's at 4k, and he's definitely gonna hit over 4k here. And like, looks like I'm checking the graveyard a bit. But if you don't have any back row, or at least if I somehow don't have any back row here, I don't remember if I do, then that's really dangerous for me. Because like if you can't stop the party loop, you know, you basically are kind of screwed. So it looks like I was deciding who to attack, and I think, yeah, I decided to attack over Liam, because that's like the more important threat, because that's the one that actually, you know, gets you mapping back, which gets you party back. So, you know. And yeah, now the attack gain wears off, but you know, the fact that the Miracle Girl stayed is problematic, and you can see that I have no back row, so Aura has free reign to do whatever they want, loop as many parties and maps, and just gain a whole heap of attack. But I am at 8k, so how bad could it be, you know? How bad could it be? You know, it depends on their hand. But if you're thinking like, man, what can you do if their bodies get so big, right? If they go to like 3k, well, usually it's like 4k, 3k, you know, those astronomical attack points. What can you run to stop this sort of thing? Cards that are like that sort of counter the girlies a bit. Obviously, all the trap cards, you know, Shiny, Shady, Invitation to a lesser extent. Oh, and looks like Aura's using Jest here to do some filtering and just clearing a body here. So yeah, Garzett goes. Goodbye, Garzett. And then draw two. I think you'll see over the course of the games that we had for this specific feature mask that Jest is just so versatile. It's just such a crazy card for what it enables for decks. But in terms of the counters, like I was saying before, what's his name? Deep Sea Hunter? Great one, because all the girls have low defense. So, whatchamacallit, you can't, you know, you just put them face down and they lose their attack. So, that's how it is, really. And yeah, it looks like Aura couldn't find a party or map. So now they are at much smaller threshold of attack points, which should be the way to go, the way to at least try to establish the board back in my favor. And it looks like Aura has one card in hand. They've put it off to the side here. And then, yep, Archfiend Warrior. Let's see if we can't establish any good mills. And then, yeah, this is where I was asking the back row here. Yep, so now I just bounce it. The back row bounce is actually, it was nice when Ryozai was around at high capacities, because, you know, it gets around the protection. But the downside is that it gives a card for your opponent to discard with. If they had like an invitation or a shady that wasn't live, now you just made it live because you gave them a discard. And with Ryozai not being as around anymore, maybe it has less value in the future. We'll see what Fiend Piles run now as their whatchamacallit, as their back removal. So you can see I had to do a bit of a desperation play where I just summon a Garzett over a 13 Archfiend Warrior. So not where you wanna be, you know? It's not as good. But it's fine. You make do. And looks like, yep. Oh, and then yeah, I remember this play. Because like, you can see how quickly Aura did it. Where, do back row, I missed the 50-50, didn't hit the shady. And now I just got punished because I was considering whether I wanted to push with the plus call to boost the Garzett. And then I got instantly punished for it because then now my now my Garzett is 0 attack and it's in defense, so bit of a blunder on my end. Should have like been more conservative and set the plus call. But you know, I took my chance with the fact that I sniped one of the two back row, you know? And yep, there's the other just resolving. Just beating me while I'm down. This is like this is like whatchamacallit. This is the sort of bad beats where like, damn, you made a misplay and now they're gonna fucking body your ass. Crazy stuff. Shout out to the plus skull here that got a little bit nicked when we were making the proxies. And then, yup, here's mapping. So now the party loops can begin again. With the turtle. Although turtle can't use its effect because you need no other monsters. Turtle. Turtle would have been a lot better if you could use it while at least another sea serpent was on board. But you know, it is what it is. You still have to run it because you don't have virtually no ways to recover the Miracle Girl, so you have to. Alright, so it looks like just a simple one. So now, yep, 4k, and then the turtle doesn't gain any attack because it doesn't meet the stat requirement for the party. So it's just a 1k. And yeah, now Aura's attacking over Amp because obviously you attack over Amp. Amp is crazy. And then it goes back to me. Let's see what I can do. Aura has one back row. Maybe I can play around it. We'll see what it is. And we'll see what kind of board I establish here. But yeah. Looks like I'm immediately setting a bunch. And then there's a middle piece. Contributing to... Is it Lucy? No, it's a Garzett. But it's the God Garzett. So now... it's not 3. So it doesn't gain the extra 8. So now it's just a simple beat stick. And this is where the value of God becomes a lot less, you know? Because it doesn't do anything. It's just like a beater. And I can't even attack over the Miracle Girls. So, unfortunate. This is where, if this was a Rebels variant, like a Royal Demon variant, and if I could somehow establish a Heavy Metal would actually be really good here. Because he pops the turtle and gains attack. Although I don't think it would have been enough. Yeah, because it's not enough to beat over the Miracle Girls. If turtle wasn't there, which usually isn't the case, but Heavy Metal can, even though he can't pop whatever is destruction immune, he still gains that attack. Because it's not like the the card text isn't like one of those thens where like A has to happen, B has to happen. The both things are separate. And you can see here that Aura is whipping out the calculator. And when your opponent starts whipping out the calculator in front of you, just doing the math like that, you're just gonna have a bad time because you know what's about to happen to you. uh, so stupid, so silly. So yeah, now I'm just sitting here waiting to see how much or how many parties are about to get resolved with a fresh five. And if my back row can stop it, you know? Because if my back row can like stem the bleeding a bit, maybe I have a chance to live. Because I'm at 46. So, you know, the life points are there. I can survive a little bit. And you can see I'm checking the graveyard to see if there is a middle piece for Okiabyss. So you can add it back. Uh, Technically, yeah. Some lists, yeah, they incorporate the Okiabyss pieces, but you don't run the full maximum. You know, you never intend to summon it. It mainly exists as discard fodder for stuff like Heavenly, to like draw to, like Heavenly Gift, I think it is. And like some of the other Abysskite effects, like Liam or Karen, and obviously Angie, to like fuel their effects to get back the important back row. So you can see, yep, there's Party. Oh, there's my Dark Hole. Rep Dark Hole. Oh, Dark Holes. That was a fun card. I think it was in Overrush Pack 1. And that's when we didn't have many answers as we do now to the board wipes or the destruction effects that happen. You know, stuff like Sunset or Scat Thief, you know? I think Scat Thief was after Dark Hole, unless I'm misremembering. And you can see I'm milling all my trap cards, which is a bad sign here for what might happen to me. But yeah, Dark Hole was crazy when it first came out. It was just like everywhere. It was like the best legend you could be running at that time. And it enabled the gate order decks. Because, you know, you just Dark Hole and then you'd, you know, parallel Birth Gate and summon 2 big vanilla beat sticks and just hit your opponent in the face. So now Aura's doing the math here. I believe 2 parties have resolved. So now Miracle Girls, yeah, goes up to the 5. And was it 2 or 3? I might have miscounted while I was yapping. And yeah. Now Aura's attacking. I flip up Monochrome. But as you'll see, it's not gonna be enough. This time I opened the Battle Trap and not like stuff like Shady or Invitation to Steal. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm doing the math here. I lower it. It's still gonna be enough for Miracle Girls to hit through the God Maju. And then obviously the Karen that's 4k is gonna finish me off here. So game 2 goes to Aura. And now I believe we're gonna move on to game 3 to see who wins here of this feature match that we have. So let's move on to game 3. Time for that all-important game 3. Now, since I lost the last one, I get to go first here. Let's see if I can, you know, put up a better defense than last time. And hopefully not misplay as much. Leading off with Lumiere, looking like a bit like I'm playing cuties over here. And looks like, yeah, just a classic board. 2 sets, 1 face down monster, and a suspicious card in hand. Whatever could it be used for, you know? That's a trend you see a lot, where people keep 1 card in hand nowadays. And people, or at least I've seen in one... Oh, hi, Jest. Oh, just. You know, Rush's equivalent of Twin Twisters. And yep, there goes my Shiny Shady and my Jest. So now I'm just sitting silly with a card in my hand. But as I was saying, because people are running the discard traps and they keep 1 card in hand, I've seen in Wonderlist, they play like this, the level 4 Fire Dinosaur. I forgot its name, but it's basically like it hand loops. Like it shuffles 1 random card from your opponent to the deck. So that means, you know, they don't have a card in hand to use for all the hand discard or hand requirement trap cards. It's a very funny tech. I like it a lot. And it's a different type for 7 Skios. Yeah, now looks like oh yeah, Aura tried to attack with a very minimal thing, and then yep, run into Archfiend Warrior, who has slightly more defense than the base attack of the girlies. With one card set, yeah. So let's see if I can't do a little better here. So yep, immediately use that card to try to establish some plays here without worrying about back row. Maybe you could say that's a bit of a misplay, because oh, rep my god modules and my dark hold. Oof, oof, oof. Very, very bad. Yeah, you could say maybe that's a bit of a misplay, because like there's no discard traps, but you know, you could be worried about a legend, you know, like a compulse or something. So that's always something to, you know, you could argue maybe that was a misplay. Yeah, maybe you can. We'll see. So looks like I did some mills here and resolving Satanarius to draw 2. So maybe we're able to oh, yep. Here we go into a great Maju over the Lumiere, so it's 18 twice. Very, very nice. So it should be like a like over 3k now. And then Archfiend Warrior tributed for cul-de-sac, and then I believe yeah, I don't even use the plus call here, because like what's the point, right? Because I can just attack with everything here. So yeah, now cul-de-sac gives the attack boost to my entire board, and Great Maju is over 3k. And now we're just doing big pressure. Big pressure. And yeah, now Aura's whipping out the calculator, doing the math. And here you can see I've just like decided to do, you know, go all in, be very, very aggressive, and deal 65 in the second turn. So, a lot of damage. And let's see how Aura can make a comeback from this. And yeah, looking at the graveyard, seeing like, you know, what's there. And I think if I remember correctly, Aura had a very insane sequence here of like draws, if I remember correctly. You're about to see it. Like, a lot of gaming has happened. So here we go, NG to draw, cycling one of the Liams. And then we go Avarice here, because yeah, we should have 5 monsters. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, it's just all of the mermaids. So now from 1 draw we convert that into 2 draws off of the Avarice. And Avarice just a +1 here, which you like to see. So yeah, we'll see here what the sequence is of how Aura mounts the comeback against this just aggressive push, which is usually what this deck tries to do, you know? You protect yourself with the trap cards, and then you make one big push with usually the Garzetts, right? They are the source of the attack points. And the Blazefiends just give you the bodies, you know, because Lucy brings them back. Yep, and there we go, Heavenly Gift. Pitching the middle piece of Oki Abyss to drawing 2 more. So now we have now drawn, I believe, a total of 5 cards. 1 off of the Angie, 2 off of the Avarice, and 2 off of the Gift. Good stuff, good stuff. You like to see it. Right now, Aura is considering her hand here. And you can see I'm sitting on 1 back row with, I believe, no cards in hand. So, since it's not like an interactive trap, and yep, there's Jest pitching 3 monsters, or is it like 2 monsters in the back row? Monsters in the back row, yep. So now hitting poor Garzett and hitting the back row. It was Compulse. Ooh. Yeah, that's a good hit. And you can see sort of like the impact that Jest has on the format. So that's 2 additional cards and then 1 more card off of Angie. What was I saying? The impact that Jest has, because this deck relies on just establishing really, really big bodies, and those bodies don't have protection. You know, their protection is their high attack points. So Jest can easily remove them. Obviously, there's other cards that interact with the cards that's favorably, like Siesta Torero, for example. He just invalidates them. Alright, yep. Here's Miracle Girls. After we've cycled, I believe, about 7 cards, something crazy like that. And there's Party. No, we milled a Party. Yeah, because I was off of the effect. And there's another map. So now we get to gain life, which is really important because I did that aggro push earlier. So now being able to gain life points off of mapping is very nice. Now we milled 2 here, and unfortunately, a poor Amph was milled off of the top of my deck. So now my pushes are lessened. And I believe, yeah, because the card in hand should be Violet Halo. Yeah, but now Aura's setting it. Yep. So yeah, now the girls are 4K and 24. So just look at that. Turning 5 cards. One of them was even, I believe, bounced off of the Simoom, the Fiend back row hate spell. And look at that. Clean comeback, 2k life, and I'm down to 47. Just like a really crazy turn. Crazy sequence here. And let's see what I can do on the crackback after that. If you're wondering what the extra deck is... Oh, look, an amp. Nice, I drew one after one of them got milled. If you're wondering what the extra deck is, it's, whatchamacallit, it's XQT Frontier. I believe is in there, like the new Contact Fusion. Because this deck runs Lumiere and Lilius. And it's not like Frontier's gonna come up often in this deck than, you know, the expected decks like Cuties. But you know, if the situation happens, you know, if the situation arises, all right. And then there's Lucy set to. Ooh, that's a bit of a unfortunate situation because you saw that I revealed a 10 in hand, which means I didn't have any ways of discarding it. So now my Lucy just has no value. Ooh. How unfortunate. How unfortunate. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Alright, so let's see what Aura can do here against my 1 Lucy and 2 back row, and then 1 card in hand, which is obviously the middle piece that we saw earlier revealed off the cul-de-sac. Alright, so what's the consideration here? How are we leading this off? And we know the set is Violet Halo from before. So let's see what happens this turn. Very exciting stuff. And you can sort of see over the course of the games that I've commentated over here, just like the nature of why Miracle Girls was almost I want to say top 3 deck. I don't know if it was like last format or like 2 formats ago, but it was like a top 3 deck, and it hasn't, you know, gotten worse, you know? Maybe like the removal of Jest hurts the deck, but it's still like completely fine, you know? It still has all the tools that it has before. And not recently, I believe last ban list it got Grand Extreme to 2. So if you want to run Grand Extreme, now you have Graveyard Hate on top of what you usually do. Liam already does Graveyard Hate, but Grand Extreme is just like you hit 5 monsters. And that's just crazy. Especially because Grand Extreme, I believe, is a very, very early rush card. You can clearly see the design behind it, where it was like sort of made to counter Dark Revelation, Dark Liberation, you know? when every deck was running a spellcaster package because Mirror Force is good. All right, so now we see Liam come down, and what do I do here? It looks like I'm considering some options, and looks like might be having. Oh, I see. Yeah. Instead of invitation, I go for shady. Yep, and I book the two girls. Now this is a very low value shady because of the fact that the Miracle Girls was summoned before. So you get to flip it back up ahead. But my thought process was, because it's Liam, I have to cut them off of the mapping. But you can see Aura opened two Miracle Girls. Well, one Miracle Girl in hand, right? So they had the discard for the Liam's effect here. So, and I didn't want to book my own Lucy because Aura had Violet Halo. So it would just get pierced over. And the calculator's being whipped out. And you know what I said last time? If your opponent starts whipping out the calculator in front of you, you basically know that you are done. So let's see what happens and how Aura tries to find lethal here. That was a very unfortunate hand because you saw I had both invitation and shady, and maybe there's like a world where you wait with the shady, or like wait with the whatchamacallit. Oh, and you see Aura hard opened and mapping. And there's Lilius. So unfortunately, I made the judgment call to cut Aura off of mapping, but they just hard opened it, Unfortunate, it happens, and now Aura just has lethal because both the girls go to 4k, and then the turtle is 1k.